Join me as we take a deeper look into a moment that stopped viewers in their tracks, a moment so quiet, so honest, and so human that it left Jenna Bush Hager visibly emotional. This wasn't just another television segment. This was one of those rare times when the line between broadcast and real life completely disappeared. On the Today Show, we're used to seeing warmth, laughter, and light-hearted conversation. Jenna Bush Hager and Savannah Guthrie have built careers on connection, bringing viewers stories that inform, inspire, and sometimes entertain. But on this particular day, the tone shifted. What unfolded was deeply personal, unexpectedly raw, and profoundly relatable. The conversation centered on Savannah Guthrie's mom and the daily health challenges she's facing. These are not dramatic, headline-grabbing moments. They are the quiet struggles that happen every single day, the kind that don't end when the cameras turn off. And it was those everyday realities that brought Jenna to tears. Health challenges have a way of changing everything. They change routines. They change priorities. They change relationships. When a parent is struggling, it doesn't matter how old you are, you suddenly feel like a child again, wishing you could fix something that's far beyond your control. Savannah has spoken with grace and strength about her family. But behind that strength is a reality many people know all too well. The worry that never fully goes away. The constant checking in. The emotional balancing act between being present for your loved one and continuing to live your own life. What made this moment so powerful was Jenna's response. She didn't jump in with platitudes or polished words. Instead, she paused. Her voice softened. Her eyes filled with emotion. It was the reaction of someone who truly understood, not just intellectually, but emotionally. Jenna Bush Hager has always been open about her empathy. She wears her heart on her sleeve, and in this moment, that vulnerability resonated deeply. You could see that this wasn't about sympathy from a distance. This was about shared human experience. Watching someone you love struggle with their health is a unique kind of heartbreak. It's not loud. It doesn't always come with dramatic moments. Often, it's a slow ache, a collection of small worries that pile up over time. And that's what made Jenna's emotional response feel so authentic. For Savannah, this isn't just a story she shares, it's her daily life. Like so many people caring for aging parents or ill loved ones, she's navigating something deeply personal while continuing to show up professionally. That kind of strength often goes unnoticed, but it deserves recognition. Jenna spoke about how these situations don't just affect one person, they affect everyone around them. Families shift, roles change, children become caregivers, conversations take on new weight. Even joy can feel different when it's shared alongside worry. As Jenna reflected, it became clear that her emotions weren't just about Savannah's mom. They were about every family quietly going through something similar. Every person sitting in waiting rooms. Every child calling their parent just to check in. Every moment of uncertainty that comes with loving someone whose health is fragile. One of the most moving aspects of the discussion was Jenna's focus on the small things. Not grand gestures. Not dramatic moments. Just the little acts of kindness that keep people going, showing up, listening, and being present. Sometimes support doesn't look like advice. Sometimes it's just sitting with someone in silence. Sometimes it's a simple message that says, "I'm thinking about you." Those small actions may seem insignificant, but when someone is struggling, they can mean everything. Jenna's words reminded viewers that compassion isn't something reserved for big moments. It lives in the everyday, checking on a friend, offering patience, giving grace when someone seems distracted or tired. The reason this moment resonated so deeply is because it felt familiar. So many people saw their own lives reflected in that conversation. The fear, the love, the helplessness, the hope. It was all there, unspoken but understood. There was no attempt to rush past the emotion. Jenna allowed herself to feel it fully. In a media landscape that often prioritizes speed and polish, that pause felt revolutionary. It was a reminder that it's okay to slow down and acknowledge pain. This wasn't about vulnerability for the sake of television. It was vulnerability as connection. And viewers felt it immediately. For families facing health challenges, days can blur together. There's no clear beginning or end, just a series of adjustments. Plans change, energy shifts, and through it all, love remains constant, even when it's heavy. Jenna's reaction highlighted something important. Empathy isn't passive, it's active. It requires us to truly listen and allow ourselves to be affected by other people's pain. That's not always easy, but it's necessary. Savannah's openness, paired with Jenna's emotional honesty, created a moment of shared humanity. It reminded us that behind every public figure is a real person dealing with real life, just like everyone else. This moment also served as a quiet acknowledgement of caregivers everywhere. The people who keep showing up, even when they're exhausted. The ones who put on brave faces while carrying emotional weight. Their work is often invisible, but it matters deeply. Jenna spoke about resilience, not the loud, triumphant kind, but the quiet strength that shows up every day. The kind that doesn't ask for recognition. The kind that simply keeps going. What viewers took away from this moment wasn't just sadness, it was connection. It was the feeling of being seen, of knowing that their struggles aren't isolated, that even people we see on television face the same fears and uncertainties. In sharing her emotion, Jenna gave permission for others to do the same. She reminded people that it's okay to feel deeply, even in professional spaces. That emotion doesn't diminish credibility, it enhances authenticity. This moment stayed with people because it wasn't scripted, it wasn't rehearsed. It was a genuine human reaction to another person's pain. And those moments are rare. In a world that often encourages us to move on quickly, this conversation asked us to stay, to sit with discomfort, to recognize the strength it takes to love someone through hard times. Jenna Bush Hager's emotional response to Savannah Guthrie's family story became more than a segment, it became a reflection of shared experience. It reminded viewers that empathy is powerful, that kindness matters, and that no one is truly alone in their struggles. As the conversation came to a close, what lingered wasn't sadness, it was warmth. The reminder that even in difficult seasons, compassion can bring light. If this story resonated with you, you're part of a much larger community than you might realize. Families everywhere are navigating similar journeys, often quietly and without acknowledgement. Moments like this remind us to check in on one another, to offer patience, to extend grace, and to remember that everyone is carrying something we may not see. Sometimes the most powerful stories aren't about overcoming, they're about enduring, about loving deeply, about showing up, even when it's hard. And that's why this moment mattered. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. Thanks for watching and subscribe.